Hello, everybody. Right, hold on. Make sure this thing's straight. I think we're good. Um, so it's been a while. A lot happening here. Um, I've just moved to a brand new house, so we're going to get all that set up. I've got family here from Scotland at the minute. I live in the States, and I've got a friend coming next week from Scotland that we're getting everything ready for. So it's been crazy, and I've not been able to jump on and make a wee video. But here we are the day, and a lot has happened. We've had a couple of bounce games. Um, we've had, and I think I'll make another wee video about the bounce game, the most recent one against Dunfermline, because some interesting things happened there. And we've had some more signings, 8 signings total, 2 of them being loans, Djeidi and Max Aarons. But there's 2 signings I want to talk about in this video. The first one is Thelo Aasgaard, who I've watched quite a bit at this point, as far as like highlights and just different bits of gameplay. And then Gassama, and the Gassama one, that took a wee while, did it no? Um, Obviously with Sheffield Wednesday, you never know what's going to happen, just with their situation and how everything sort of sits with Sheffield Wednesday. But anyway, he's in, and let's talk about these 2 players. So Thelo Aasgaard, obviously an exciting player, young, as he's young, a very exciting player. I think my worry for him, obviously he's fantastic with the ball at his feet. His dribbling style, he's ranked among one of the top dribblers in the championship, and his success rate on dribbles is like in the 91 percentile. So the dribbling ability is there. You can see that just for watching him. He can score goals. I think he had, what did he have, 10 goals in the championship in League One last year. And he creates chances. 34 chances created last season. And his assist numbers were a wee bit lower. Obviously, they were a lot lower than that. He didn't have 34 assists, for goodness sake. But the thing there is, if he's playing with better finishers, if he's playing alongside the top goal scorer in the league at Rangers, you'll see those assist numbers just increase. Obviously, the assist numbers, you need somebody on the end finishing the chances. So 34 chances created, absolutely fantastic. He's The big knock on him is shot selection. He does a lot of work, a lot of good hard work, winning the ball back, running with the ball, as we say, dribbling. But oftentimes his shot selection is poor, especially inside the box. He's actually better at shooting outside of the box than he is inside the box, which is a strange stat. But the thing that gets me for him is it's twofold. It's a positive and I think potentially a negative. The positive is he creates a lot of dead ball opportunities around the box. He gets fouled a lot. We'll have to see how that works, because the last thing we need is the boy being on the bench because he's picking up knocks, trying to be creative around the box, and he's ended up on the treatment table. It's the last thing we need. So again, though, that can be really positive. We seem to have signed some players that are good in these free kick type situations. Obviously corners as well, both in taking them and in finishing them. So good stuff there. It just bothers me a wee bit that seems to be such a big part of his game, is drawing fouls like that. And then I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see just sort of what the dynamic of having a player like that will do to this team, the way it's being structured. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch. Defensively, he can be a wee bit lacklustre as far as effort, but on a Russell Martin team, number one, that's not going to fly, and then number two, I think some of that's just coaching. I think from what we've seen from Martin and the staff, they'll coach that up. And exciting young signing. Now, the Gassama. Obviously, we talk about watching highlights on YouTube. I didn't watch any Sheffield Wednesday games. He's a French youth international, which is exciting. The thing about him is the blistering pace. He's lightning fast. And I understand YouTube can make anybody look like Diego Maradona. I get it. But you can't fake pace. You just can't fake that. And when you're watching this lad, he'll run, not just run past a defender, he runs past two defenders. You're sitting watching him, he'll be running towards the wing, or he'll be on the wing, he'll run past the defender. There's a sitting defender further upfield taking an angle at him, and he outruns that angle. It's just mental. I remember many years ago, and it's actually a Rangers connection, many years ago, DeMarcus Beasley. Now, you remember DeMarcus Beasley at Rangers? I remember him at the Chicago Fire, and he was that way. He was absolutely lightning fast when he was young, and he just would, it was like playing FIFA on easy. He just would run past boys. A couple of other players like that I've seen up close often would be, there was a young guy, he played for the Fire, then I think he played for Houston as well. He's on the telly and that now here. His name's Kalen Carr. When he was young, he was the same way. Reminded me a lot of watching Gassama there that I've been watching. Just absolutely blistering pace. And, 21 years old, I think he signed for 4 years or something. So that's fantastic. Just, he's another one though. Last year he had the fifth most dribbles in the league, and he was the most fouled player in the league. I think he was fouled over 100 times. Again, concern if with injury, because you understand sitting in that opposing team's dressing room, it's going to, and if Gassama's there, or if Gassama comes in, the instruction is going to be put him down on the grass. And that's the only way you can slow a guy like that. Slow him down is to put him down. So we'll see. The last thing you want again is him just being banged up all the time and on the treatment table, just for the style of play in Scotland. And his runs are just so direct, and it's how he can draw defenders in and create advantage type positions for not only himself but for other attacking players is fantastic. I mean, he's a great finisher. If you look at the numbers, the analytics on his shot selection's very, very good. These two reasons, along with the pace, obviously, but these two reasons, especially for such a young player at his point in his development, are probably the reason why he's in the French system. Obviously, those sort of coaches are going to pick up on that, the shot selection, and the way he applies it with his finishing skill. That's something they're going to want to see for the future, and so that's exciting. That's going to be good to see. He had 8 goals in 45-ish matches for Sheffield Wednesday, something like that. Not a lot of assists. I think he only had a couple of assists. Nothing to even talk about, which it's a concern. But again, sort of like we talked about with Thelo, I think having higher level finishers in front of him when he's creating these chances, I think you'll see those assist numbers go up. I'm not too worried about that. And either way, if we're not getting a lot of output that way from him as far as assist goes, his ability to completely change the positioning and the shape of a defence with that pace is just incredible. You can't coach that, you can't teach that. It's just something that comes with that attribute of speed. and his speed kills, and he's got it in droves. So that's very, very exciting. Obviously, that vertical style, keeping and creating with, pressing, all of his attributes fit into that stuff when it comes to Russell Martin's style. So very excited to see this boy. Barry Bannon, I saw something with Barry Bannon, who played with Gassama, said that his biggest area of improvement is consistency in the final third. He's just got to be consistent. Obviously, the flashes are there, and the flashes seem to be plentiful, but it just needs to be more consistent. It needs to be a guy like him with his pace, with his width, with the creative ability to change that defence. Everybody else on the pitch needs to know what they're getting from him, especially in the final third. So that's an area. But 21 years old, obviously, he's got some things he needs to work on. But that's amazingly exciting. The pass accuracy, there's a lot of talk that he could get better at passing the ball. I think everybody could get better at passing the ball, unless you're Paul Scholes, David Beckham, that sort of level. So they're the areas to improve. We talked about the assist output. I think that will just naturally come up playing at Rangers though. So I'm not too concerned about that. You're thinking, oh, we signed a winger that doesn't give assists to the forwards. I don't really think that's the situation. So these two, absolutely perfect for Russell Martin's setup. Young, hungry players. Him being in the French youth system, Gassama being in the French youth system, and obviously Thelo Aasgaard playing for Norway is exciting. Being around some of those players, Haaland and all this, when on international trips, it's amazing. And look, he's playing for something. He said he wants to play in the World Cup. He wants to stay there, and I think he's sort of on the bubble as one of those players that when you're going to the World Cup, do you take this young boy or do you take an experienced boy to sit on to be on the bench? And he's made this move to Rangers to try and solidify his sale in the Norway squad. So it's quite exciting. These are the type of players I like. And Aasgaard Gassama, I like these sort of players. I like the fact that they're young, that they've got a lot to prove, and they've got the attributes and the ability to match, because under the right coaching, in the right system, in the right environment, that can become just brilliantly fantastic. And who knows, maybe you get 2-3 years out of them before they get moved on for a higher transfer fee, but that's the name of the game at this point for our club, and you can squeeze as much juice out of that grape in 2 or 3 years as you can, and that could mean a title or two. We'll see. I'm not saying that these are players that can lead the team, but they're certainly players that we've not really seen for a while at Rangers, and they have attributes that can be game changing. Again, these ability to draw fouls around the box, the blistering pace, the creative play, the direct play. It's just exciting. So let me know what you think about these two signings and the other signings. We'll talk about some of the defensive stuff going on as well. I think it's a lot of defence and a lot of wingers, which is exciting, because those are two areas that we really were worried about. And obviously with Cherny leaving, it was who's going to fill that gap. So we'll talk about that. I want to talk about Kieran Dowell as well, because he seems to be resurging under Martin. Martin seems to really like him, so we'll make a wee video about that. And then we'll just talk about the signings in general. We're not going to talk about rumours, the potential signings, but we'll talk about the signings that have come in, and sort of the makeup of those players, and just in general. No specific sort of like this or some of the other videos we've made, but just in general, and what that could mean for the team. So thanks again for watching. Make sure you do all the wee things, press all the buttons, and keep getting the videos and comment on them. That's great. And onward to the next one. Right, that's it. See you later.